everyone, my name is Zaya Conda Domingo, and now let's talk about why gender inequality often starts at home. Home is where the heart it is, but it's also the first place where children are socialized into gender norms, values, and stereotypes. From the moment babies are born, they're assigned sex, male or female, immediately begins to shape how they should be treated, what opportunities they should receive, or how they should behave according to dominant gender stereotypes in their society. In fact, studies have shown that an individual's sense of being either male or female is predominantly determined by the way they are treated by the others. Based on their internal environment, children learn very quickly from as young as 9 months old in some cases, that boys and girls are different. They have their own colors, toys, abilities, and particular interests. Gendered norms also result in girls and women experiencing violence, harassment, and struggling to receive equal pay and opportunities, while boys and men experience higher rates of substance abuse and completed suicide. In addition, body image issues are prevalent among both sexes, with a large percentage of both men and women agreeing that they're self-conscious about their physical form. Parents teach children their place in the world. Without a doubt, the most significant influence on gender role development occurs within the family setting, with parents modeling and passing on onto their children their own beliefs about gender, threatening boys and girls differently. Beliefs about the value of boys versus girls are commonly reflected in the way parents treat their children. For example, the gender division of household work is accepted almost everywhere. Boys are more likely than girls to have maintenance chores like mowing the lawn or painting, while girls are given domestic chores like cooking and cleaning. This segregation of household labor tells children that they expected to take on different roles based on their gender, while both parents influence their children's perceptions of gender. Fathers in particular are more likely to reinforce common gender stereotypes, preferring to encourage gendered toys, sports, and rough play with their sons versus their daughters. In addition, the way fathers treat their wives can have a long-term impact on their sons and daughters. Personality and life choices. In fact, fathers who take on an active role in childcare and domestic labor positively influence their children by showing that the adult male role can be nurturing. This positive role modeling helps boys become better husbands, father, brother, and friends to girls and women. At the same time, it positively impacts the self-esteem of young girls and reinforces that both genders are equal. While both parents influence their children's perceptions of gender, fathers in particular are more likely to reinforce common gender stereotypes, preferring to. Additionally, mothers who work and take on a financial provider role in the family also help break down stereotypes for their children, especially their daughters, and challenge ideas about the conventional female role. Gender inequality for all. Of course, parents aren't entirely responsible for how their children perceive gender. Much of the external would, including peers, teachers, caretakers, and the media, have an impact on how children and even parents themselves think they should behave based on their assigned sex. However, parents who are conscious of prevailing gender norms within their society have an important opportunity to challenge gender roles, break stereotypes, and educate their children. When everyone plays a part of standing up for gender equality, we can create a just and equal world where no one is held back by restrictive gender norms. Why is gender inequality important in terms of roles at home? Gender inequality prevents violence against women and girls. It is essential for economic prosperity. Societies that value women and men as equal and are safer and healthier. Gender inequality is a human right. Implication in household chores and work-family conflict, or WFC. Time required for household chores and caring for the family is one of the most important factors in the conflict, coming from the family sphere, especially in families with children. So, the dual income couples with children tend to have a greater number of conflicts between the partners and a higher level of stress than their counterparts without children. From this point of view, the gender roles model assumes that the nature of the role demands differ in men and women, and these roles act as moderators of WFC, or work-family conflict. Moreover, do as they perceive it more as a hobby or a free choice. Also, those house chores that keep the home every day, shopping, cooking, washing dishes, washing clothes, and cleaning the house, are considered feminine, while those considered male or neutral tasks, paying bills, taking care of the home maintenance, do not involve daily devotion. Some cultural interpretation argue that women are more involved in house chores and do not want to fully share because of the belief that this is central to their gender identity and a source of power in the family, whereas husbands whose gender identity has traditionally been marked by paid work would not object to do less household chores than their wives. However, men do not adjust their contribution to household chores when their wives bring their work stress home. Research on family processes shows that stressed couples show a high level of negative interactions and conflicts. Thus, increased stress associated with WFC and its correlative frustration leads individuals to initiate or exacerbate their sequence of negative interaction with their partner. This negative interaction may be understood as product both of social undermining which consist in behaviors that involve rejection, criticism, and negative attitude towards the couple. Focusing on the conflict between the partners and their relationship with household chores, it has shown how increasing the stress and frustration generated by WFC tends to impair the interaction with the partner. This can result in increased tension between the partners due to the transfer of stress from work to family by men and their lesser involvement in household chores, which would generate an increase in MC and therefore an increase of conflict in the family, especially in women due to unequal distribution of household chores. Gender inequality starts at home. 7 tips for raising feminist kids. First is talk about it. Embrace talking to your kids about gender inequality, equality, and women's rights. By talking to your kids about equality between the sexes and what still needs to be done for us to reach a gender equal world, you're setting them up to lead the way for better future for all. In my opinion, the best way to raise a child is by example as your child takes after you. I often talk my son or daughter about gender roles because this topic is relevant. People are born to be happy and all of us have equal rights. Everything starts with families. I think kids should get their parents' attention equally. They should see their fathers is not afraid to be weak sometimes, and their mothers isn't afraid to be strong. Second is share the care work. Women do at least 2.5 times more unpaid home and care than men. From cooking and cleaning, to fetching water and firewood, and caring for children and the elderly. As a result, thousands of women and girls are denied educational facilities, full-time paid employment, and enough relaxation. 3 is embrace diverse models. Role models come in all shapes, sizes, genders, skin tones, and cultural backgrounds. Encourage your children to embrace diversity, show them role models from different genders, ethnicities, and color. 4th is empower your kids to speak out. Young people around the world are stepping up for gender equality. When we empower and educate young advocates about women's rights, we are ensuring a better future for for us all. Simply put, empowerment means guiding your child in a manner that encourages their belief in their own abilities and potential for positive growth. Fifth, fight stereotypes, including your own. Gender is not about biological differences between the sexes. Rather, it's a social construct. People define what it means to be a boy or a girl. And these social conditions often expect children to conform to specific and limiting gender roles, stereotypes by age 3, causing the world to expand for boys and shrink for girls by age 10. That's why we have to start a conversations about gender roles early on, and daily routines in school, and characteristics assigned to men and women at home. In our daily routines in school and places of work, we all have unconscious gender biases. These are roles that were internalized based on our society's set expectations about cases, what kind of work they should do. It's in our hands to become aware of these biases and challenge the stereotypes that our children constantly encounter, whether in the media, on the street, or at the school. Let your children know that your family is a safe space for them to express themselves, as they are, by affirming their choices, by restoring them. That is okay. It's okay to be different, and by encouraging a culture of acceptance. 6 is stop the body shame. Our world is constructed in a way that makes us compare ourselves to the beauty standards set by the media, culture, and society. We constantly measure ourselves against other people and feel judged by our physical appearance. Body shaming is a learned behavior, so it's important for parents to lead by example. Be careful not to be critical of body image, including your own, and reject sexist negative stereotypes of unrealistic body standards. At home, instill a body positive mindset in your children by demonstrating that they are defined by their actions rather than their appearance. 7. Listen and learn from them. Students can follow orders, perceive expectations, and make sense of oral communication when they are taught to listen. Children learn to employ the same tactics to develop their command and to the other language arts as they progress as listeners. The role of family and friends. Families can have a major impact on the well-being of trans and gender diverse young people. Young people that experience conflict with or rejection by their families and loved ones are the higher risk of developing depression and anxiety. They are also more at risk of homeless, economic instability, self-harm, and suicide. Why it is important to understand this gender identity? Gender is the key importance of defining the power, privilege, and possibilities that some people have and some people do not have in a given society. It affects progresses towards equality and freedom from discrimination. Gender identity is not as simple as doctor labeling someone a girl or boy at birth. We know this because not everyone who is assigned boy or girl at birth grows up to identify as male or female, respectively. Although we may intellectually understand this, we may still face challenges, judgments, or biases in understanding and celebrating gender fluidity in our friends, family, students, and colleges. One thing that is important to understand is that transgender people face considerable discrimination, risk of poverty, are increased for risk of poverty, risk of suicide and suicide attempts, and employment discrimination. And these risks are increased for transgender people for of color. Because of this risk and because of more transgender people non-conforming students are visible on college campuses. It is vital to provide support and campus resources for these students. Show respect. Why it is important to respect a person's gender identity? It is important to acknowledge and create an environment that respects and celebrates our differences in gender identities and sexual orientation and expression. Creating an exclusive culture prevents children and youth from experiencing distress, discrimination, bullying, and ultimately negative health outcomes. That's all. Thank you.